tips, advice, knowing what you know now, and this process that you've gone through. What
Yeah.
advice can you give pre-dents? Three or four things that maybe you would do different sooner, or just just overall.
Yeah. One, I would say when you're looking at schools and you're trying to determine where you want to go, it can't hurt to, so many people, especially in our generation nowadays, are on social media. Reach out to somebody or go watch a day in the life video at some of these schools so you can get a real idea of what it would be like. And if you have the means, even go visit in some cases. That would be tip number one. Tip number two would be to start your shadowing and your volunteer hours as soon as possible. Putting that off, it becomes a thing that you're trying to juggle while you're applying. And I think applying and taking your DAT together alone is plenty. So if you can get those hours ahead of time and establish a good relationship with a dentist in your area, it gives you a lot more room to work, a lot more time to spend on your application and your personal statement and those important things.
How early? How early would you say are you recommending?
As early as you can. I mean, if you know it's what you want to do, like freshman year, as soon as you get on campus or while you're home on breaks, call dentists in the area where you're home, call dentists, because it sneaks up on you quick. And next thing you know, you're going into your junior year and maybe your classes are a little heavy and you don't have the time to go shadow. So when you have the opportunity, I would say make use of it. Absolutely. Sooner the better. And I would write it down as you get those hours. Don't try and rethink, what did I do when and how long was I there? As soon as you walk out, I'd write it down. I was here today for this many hours, and it'll help you keep track when it comes time to apply, because, they want specifics.
And that's key that you mentioned that. I want you to continue with the tips, because all schools have all different types of shadowing hours requirements. Don't think that each school has the same amount of shadowing hours. And in some cases, there's one or two schools that I can think of where their hours are like twice as many as another school. So you're right. The earliest that you can start, the earlier that you can start quantifying and having those hours documented, because you don't know, as a freshman, you may not even know what schools you're going to be applying to at that time, but that's okay, because at least you're documenting your hours. Better to have a lot than to not have a lot and need a lot.
That's right. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. Third tip.
My third tip, kind of backpacking off what you just said there. Make sure you research the requirements at each school heavily, because some classes are required in some places that aren't required at other schools, and that can really help you determine what you're going to take. And on top of that, I think you should get out there and get involved early. When you're a freshman, when you're a sophomore, get involved in multiple clubs, and then you can see what resonates with you and narrow it down. But get involved with as many things as you can and get a real idea of what you enjoy, what groups stand out to you, because they do look at, leadership positions and in undergrad. So, getting your foot in the door somewhere early and then building relationships with those students can really help you strengthen your application later on.
Yeah, you mentioned the research of the school requirements. What did you do? Because that's a great tip, but now people want to know, all right, so how do I do that? How do I research the schools and put it and create it in such that I have it as a living document all the way up into the time where I'm applying?
Yeah. So I was kind of doing a couple different things. So there's another website is called DAT Booster, and they do DAT prep, but they also have school requirements broken down. So you can look up DAT Booster, Howard University dental school requirements, and it'll have all of the classes that are required, recommended hours. It'll show you the previous year, like the average GPA of their accepted students, the average DAT of their accepted students. It'll show you required classes versus strongly recommended classes. And then I would also go, if you find schools that align with your goals and your coursework, I would then go onto their website directly and then double check all of those requirements. I know I spoke with some students. I know some students, maybe I think there's an ADEA handbook out there somewhere. I know it costs money, but I know they do a breakdown of all the requirements for each school, and very similarly, the accepted GPAs and DATs of the prior year's students. But for me, the DAT Booster, the free version, was at least very helpful for me to get a ballpark idea of what these schools look like before I looked directly on their website and kind of got definitive answers,
Awesome. So that's 4 good tips. You have a 5th one?
I got a 5th one. I think it's the biggest one. I would say focus on yourself. Everybody's got a different path to this thing. Enjoy your journey. Don't get caught up in comparing yourself with who's next to you and what they're doing. Because like we mentioned before, it's comprehensive. Your application is comprehensive. So just because somebody has something or does something that you didn't doesn't mean that they're any more likely than you are to be accepted. So enjoy your journey and your path, and don't get caught up in what everybody else is doing next to you. I would say, just focus on you.
Great tips, man. 5 great, outstanding tips. Focus on yourself. Don't compare yourself to others. Get involved with school activities, clubs, organizations early, because it's part of the application that schools will look at as far as leadership and other types of related roles. Research the school requirements, right? Different ways to do that, creating a spreadsheet, looking at the different guides through DAT Booster, DIA Dental School Guide as well, that breaks down all the different schools and all their different requirements, DAT scores, etc. Start shadowing as soon as possible, as early as freshman year, if you know early enough that that's what, if dentistry is what you are wanting to do. And last but not least, connect with students at schools. If you can visit, great, but this thing here is more powerful than most people recognize, right? Your cell phone, your mobile phone, where you can access social media accounts of students who not only have their own personal social media accounts, but they also are part of organizations who post information about the school and their club and their organization activities that you can participate with. Great opportunity for you to connect with them very easily by going into DMs and requesting more information about an upcoming activity. All great tips and advice for you pre-dental students. So hopefully you guys stayed all the way through and you're listening. And if you didn't get everything that we said, push pause, go back to the first segment, to this segment related to tips and advice, so that you can hear it again. And most importantly, implement these tips, implement the advice that student Dr. Avery, or future student Dr. Avery, has shared today. Hey, this is Dr. Darwin. Are you looking for some mentorship, some accountability, some help with getting all of this application and getting into dental school and getting into residency, and then just your life as a new dentist? Look, I'm having monthly, twice a month, live coaching sessions and office hours so we can talk about all of that. I don't want you to struggle with the application process. I don't want you to struggle with
getting ready for interviews. I don't want you to struggle about what list of schools and programs to apply to. We talk about all of that in our group, our monthly group called Dr. Darwin On Demand. Dr. Darwin On Demand. Check it out down below here. And then also, if you're interested and you want to get that help so you don't have to struggle anymore, so that you can get some mentorship, some accountability, and some help, hit this link right here. Hit that link right there so we can get you signed up and enrolled today. Today. Your future starts today. And I'm here to help you. This is Dr. Darwin. And join my members only community called Dr. Darwin On Demand. Look forward to seeing you soon, okay? Now back to this episode. Enjoy.
You know, I look forward to the challenge. I thank you for all your help along the way. And I really thank you for having me on here. And I think what you're doing is wonderful, helping kids get more information and figure out where they're going, because that is the toughest part of the entire process, is having a clear understanding of what the process looks like. And I think you're helping with that clarity. Absolutely.
Hey man, it's called ITAV. ITAV. It takes a village. And so we thank you for sharing your journey to get to your dental school acceptance. Guys, go to the next video. Go to the next video right now. Go, 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 go.